Welcome back, everybody, to yet another live stream here on the Oshay Duke Jackson Channel. For those of you that were waiting in the live stream, I am definitely glad that you're here. For those of you who are watching the restream, as we know that most people don't get a chance to catch the shows live, I definitely appreciate you. Today, we have a brother who we know in the chat. Some of you guys have heard me say Calypso, Oregon before my videos, and you kind of really didn't know where it was coming from. Well, that's because that is the one and only Don Calypso. He's been a huge part of this manosphere community for when it first started, and he's a very, very talented brother, and he always weighs in, and he's done a lot of things in the back end, whether it's helping Obsidian Radio get off the ground on the Blog Talk radio shows, the Facebook like page, and stuff like that. So he's always been supportive, and I would say probably done a lot more than a lot of the homegrown brothers have earlier on in the movement. So we want to welcome our brother Don Calypso today, and we want to ask, how does a Haitian U.S. citizen, that means a Caribbean, diaspora African immigrant, if you want to put it like that, because we're all from diaspora of Africa, how does he feel about the hashtag ADOS? And so present to some, Don Calypso, what's going on with you, brother?
Hotep. How you doing, man?
Man, the white man is holding me back, man. I'm glad that you're able to be on here with us today. We talk quite regularly on WhatsApp. And for those of you, when you hear those voices like the Beavis and Butthead, and you hear the Bill Clinton voiceover, and the what's the other one you did for me?
You did the Borat Sagdia.
Yeah, Borat. So that's Don Calypso. He's also doing stuff on the Thirst Box. So when you hear like a funny ass voice, that's usually him. So shout out to Don Calypso. Let me ask you this, man. Tell us a little bit about yourself as far as how you started coming into the Black YouTube space before we get into other things.
Well, first, before I let Don Calypso speak, I'd like to say that Oshay Duke Jackson is a great American. It is this kind of dedicated hard work in podcasting and making YouTube videos that makes America great. I'm Barry Obama, and I approve this message.
Thank you so much, President. How did you come into this space of Black YouTube?
How can Black YouTube? I was there back in the 2008, 2009, the Black YouTube gender wars.
Okay.
I wasn't. I would listen. I didn't really participate on YouTube, but I was part of the Black Men Vent Forum board, and when it spilled over to Blog Talk Radio, I was one of the active participants going on those different shows, debunking some of the claims that were being made by Black men, such as us being irresponsible sperminators, not being educated, and all that. Because on Blog Talk Radio, we could actually debate without getting people's accounts flagged off. So that's kind of how I started, and I've kept in touch with a lot of the guys. There's some key players who were not so much YouTubers, but who were regular commenters, who are still very much active. I still keep in touch with them. We still have some people some veterans from the first Black YouTube gender war, like Soul and Black, who are still around. Mm-hmm. And again, I keep in touch with them. Some of those people, they have my number, I have theirs. We actually speak offline. So, that's how it was. So that's kind of how I somewhat became involved in the Black manosphere. I did one of the things is when I first heard of Obsidian, initially when he had that critique of Alan Roger Curry, but then as he got familiar with the Mode 1 philosophy, he kind of became a big proponent of it. Kind of did my best.
So we know that. Let's kind of get back into. Let's do this. Let's talk about you. You are different from the native African American people because you have a little bit of a different story. You were born and raised where?
I was born and raised in Haiti for the earliest part of my childhood, but I actually spent quite a few of my formative years on the African continent in Zaire, which is now known as the Democratic Republic of Congo. Mm-hmm. So, back during the Cold War when Mobutu was in power, I was living there because my father used to work for UNICEF. And the direction my life was going, I would have ended up going to university in Europe and stuff. But in 1991, there was some major upheaval because the economy was going bad in Zaire, and the
Mm-hmm.
military kind of revolted against Mobutu over inflation and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So we had to leave. All the UN families had to leave. And in the meantime, that same month, 2 weeks later, there was a coup in Haiti. So I got stuck in New York, staying with my mom, and I got stuck staying with my aunt. And I couldn't go to the French school in Manhattan because we stayed in Queens. I was too young to travel by myself 2 hours each way on the subway to go to school. So I ended up going to the branch campus of the United Nations International School in Queens, and that's how I learned English. And I switched from the French to the American educational system. And
Mm-hmm.
even when I returned to live in Africa, ended up going to American schools.
Okay.
I returned to Haiti in December '95. I finished the 8th grade and did high school back in Haiti, and then I came to the States for college.
Okay. So your first time coming to the United States was in what year?
Ooh, first time coming to the United States must have been when I was a baby. I mean, I got family in the States, so I've
That you
always
can remember?
traveled.
That you can
Yeah,
remember?
but well, as far as I can remember, ooh, damn, late. I know it was in the late '80s. Now, even before coming to college, I mean, I forgot which year it was. Maybe summer of my sophomore or junior year, I came to the States to come to basketball camp. I'd always been coming back and forth. But in 2000, that's when I came for college, and that's when I really started living in the States for real.
Hmm. So let's kind of get back into because you've had some I would call privileged experiences from
Yeah.
someone who lived in any country, right? What what did your family do?
Um, well, prior to leaving Haiti, my father had already started working with the UN. First, he was with the World Health Organization,
Hmm.
and then he switched to UNICEF. At the time, my mother was working as a general physician at the main general hospital in Port-au-Prince. And then once my dad took that job with UNICEF to to Zaire, he was like a health policy advisor. And my mom was, for the most part, a stay-at-home mom, even though she volunteered as a volunteer doctor for the UN employee clinic in Zaire.
Hmm.
But yeah, my parents are both medical doctors, but my father did the bulk of his career in public health.
Okay, okay. So your both of your parents were medical doctors. They were pretty much. Would you consider them to be elite in Haiti at the point? I mean, when they started working for, were they in
No,
like?
oh no, actually no. When they started work, when they graduated out of med school, they were earning the equivalent of just what, $75 US each. I
Mhm.
mean,
No,
they
I
they they
mean,
were
at the
roughing it.
time that they were working for, you know,
At the time my father was in the UN, you could say that he was making. I don't know exact. I know it was definitely six figures. He was definitely making a very good salary and
okay,
everything. My parents definitely made enough for us to live. We didn't live fancy, but we lived comfortably and had enough to help support other family members too.
hmm
As far as supporting some who were less fortunate back home, helping helping nieces and nephews go to school and all that sort of stuff. You know how a lot of I'm pretty sure even in the States it happens. You know how black folks do, where if you're doing pretty well, you help out those in your family who are maybe not as fortunate.
yes, yes, I
Yeah,
understand.
it's a common thing with black folks wherever. So,
So let me do this real quick. Let me ask you this: um, what was your treatment when you came to the United States? Because you went and your parents, so you didn't come over here like a lot of people getting green cards and stuff. Your family actually funded your college education; they paid out of pocket, right?
yep,
Okay,
it was all paid out of pocket. I had a partial tuition scholarship at that school, but it was contingent upon maintaining a grade point average of over 3.0,
okay,
and you had an additional tuition waiver if you got over a 3.5. But
okay,
no, I did not get any financial aid, no loans, no grants, nothing. It was
okay.
parents paid out of pocket.
Okay. So then when you first started interacting with because I know your wife is African American. Uh
Yes.
so I know that. But what was your What was your experience dealing with African Americans when you first, at least when you first can remember? How did the African American community treat you, or what, did you see any kind of disparaging comments coming towards the Caribbean community, or when you came to America and started going to college?
Uh, Actually, some disparaging comments from the women, but
Mhm.
um, I had heard about, I had heard about in the past how there was some animosity between Black Americans and foreign blacks and stuff. But I made an effort to try to get to know Black Americans rather than just go by stereotypes. So I I got involved with initially what was the Minority Affairs Office,
Okay.
which it helped that the director, his wife was Haitian, so that was kind of a bridge. You know, he was Black American, but his wife was Haitian. And then we got a new director, they changed it in the Office of Intercultural Program. I got involved like with the Black Action Society. I became a member. Eventually, got on the executive board. I served as a junior mentor to help mentor underclassmen, and I got to befriend quite a lot of the Black Americans. Actually, a lot of Black American guys ended up being very cool with the Caribbean dudes, and they definitely had a taste for for the Caribbean and African women.
Hmm.
If anything, it was the Black American women who were
Uh,
not feeling the foreign blacks. The
okay,
dudes
so
were cool.
let me ask you this real quick, and you make a really good point about this, because usually I notice this about, and I got to be honest, there are a lot of brothers over here that are from Africa, that are from other places, Britain, whatever. We really don't have no problems. Shout out to my man, Blackest Night. You know what I mean? I gotta give a shout out to my brother. Well, he changed his name. What is his name? Chinook MGTOW. I don't know what his name is. I think I saw him earlier. Odinga. That never comes up when when Falcon Black. That's what it's. We're kicking it. We never talk about shit like that. Like when black men meet, we never have any fucking problems when it comes to like nothing. Like it's all good.
No,
We don't really
no,
have
we
no
were cool.
issue.
Like a lot of Black American guys, a lot of Black American guys, they were friendly. They would help us, get to know the places around. They were cool. Now, the only time, and I think some of the Black American women were jealous of the foreign Black women because the American Black guys were checking them out. The only time I can ever say that where the Black American women and the foreign Black guys seem to get along, it would be when the language department would have what they call a Latin night, where they would
Okay.
have like a live salsa band come, like they have a big party.
Mhm.
That's the time where, for some reason, the American Black women, they picked up how to dance salsa and stuff real quick. So that would be the one time where they would really interact with the foreign Black guys.
Mhm. Mhm.
Eh,
So let me kind of do this. Um, you noticed the tension between blacks in your experience. It didn't really come from the community. It came from a, a certain gender in the community. It came from really black women. I've heard a lot of foreign Caribbean dudes say that. African guys say that. I've heard that before. But let me kind of talk about since in on the internet in the last few years,
yeah.
has there been some at least towards the good hardworking people like yourself, who you just became a U.S. citizen. Congratulations on that.
Well,
Congratulations on
thank you.
that. Have you been feeling like that Black American community has been kind of vicious towards immigrants, and kind of basically putting all Black immigrants in the same box, as we all know that your family, you worked everything for what you got.
Yep.
What don't we understand from that as Black Americans? Like what are some of the things that we don't understand about the opportunities that we have and the opportunities that you have when you first get here?
Oh, well, what I've noticed is, and I was talking about with Alvin, our buddy Alvin Hollinger. He was saying, remember, YouTube is a subculture of Black America, so it doesn't represent the totality of the Black community. But on YouTube, yes, I have sensed what seemed to be some kind of animosity. And to me, I could be wrong. It seems like it's the animosity that should be directed towards those illegals who are siphoning off all the resources that are rightfully due to the native black population. And somehow that anger is being transferred towards those those black immigrants like me who are not mooching off the system, who are not taking away opportunities from black Americans, who are not even talking shit about black Americans, but I guess we're held guilty by association, you know?
Let's talk about this, and I want to shout out Dinga because we got to be fair to and let people tell their story. I know I've heard this before. A lot of Haitian kids, when they first came to America, for whatever reason, and they kind of put them in black neighborhoods, they got beat up. They got pretty much picked on and stuff like that. Talk about that. I know that you didn't experience that, but you have family members who did.
Yeah, I have family members who are actually, you could say a generation older. They're like probably in their mid to late 40s now. And they were talking about in the 80s, like, yeah, people, the jokes, people talk about HBO, Haitian body odor, trying to beat up. If they found out somebody was Haitian, they try to beat them up just for being Haitian, not for them talking smack about Black American or anything. I got a cousin, he's a big buff guy, and he said some people were going to try to beat up this little Haitian kid, and I guess they didn't know he was Haitian American. He's like, well, if you're going to attack him, you got to get to me first.
Mm-hmm.
And, they let it go. But yeah, I've heard about it. Fortunately, I have not experienced it. But yeah, that's something I heard about. And that's why I made it my business when I first came to this country, in school and stuff, to try to get to know Black Americans. And one thing that did help a lot is a friend of mine, a Trini friend. He was a non-traditional student in that he was, older than everyone else, probably late 20s or 30s. And he made a point. He said, we got to consider the history of what the Black American community has endured. Because you hear a lot of foreign blacks talking about, they'll claim Black Americans are lazy. Like, look at all the opportunities. It's one thing to say that coming from the outside. You come from a country where you don't have basic things like 24/7 electricity, paved roads, running water. Even in the worst of hoods in America, you have some more basic infrastructure than you do like in Haiti and stuff. And even if the school system sucks, the teachers, they're only half-assing the job, but you still got at least the public school system. If you apply, they may not push you in the public school system, but if you want to learn, if you're motivated, you can still gain a lot from it. But it's hard for someone, who come from a background, especially if they're privileged like me or even more privileged than me, or even underprivileged, and they finally made it to the States. It's hard for them to understand that here in the States, the people who've been living here, it may look like, they have all these opportunities they're not taking advantage of. But when you learn the history, that's when you realize that, you understand. I mean, you learn the history, you realize, for example, with the whole Black Wall Street, and I'm not just talking Black Wall Street as in Tulsa, Oklahoma. I'm talking like Rosewood, Florida, or Wilmington, North Carolina, and I forgot those other places where whenever Black Americans were doing well, how at some point the dominant society would come and basically kill them and drive them off. I mean, you get that happen enough time. That's the kind of trauma that's hard to recover from. If you have not had that in your experience, you can't understand. It took me learning more about Black American history to some of that stuff makes sense. And so I don't go around and be like, Black Americans are lazy and stuff. I'm thinking like, there's a lot of folks, they might wonder, why the hell should I, work hard and strive to, to try to achieve well and stuff. If you feel that if you make your own business, it might get snatched away from you, or at least you have relatives who are still alive who remember when stuff happened, like in places like Tulsa, Oklahoma, or if you're constantly being teased and shunned for quote unquote acting white because you're intelligent, whereas an immigrant comes from a country where if you got a diploma at school, it's looked at as a good thing. The family, it's praised. It's not looked at as a shameful thing, like you're a cornball or something, So it took me getting to know, getting to befriend some Black Americans, getting to learn some of the history, and also realizing that, especially me coming from Haiti, I, you know, when my people got their independence, the white society, they basically took out their frustrations on your ancestors. I
Mhm.
mean, if there's one thing I can accept that Black America begrudges Haitians is the fact that when we got our independence, you guys, were made to pay the price for it, which is unfair. I mean, they got even more repressive on you guys as a revenge for
Right.
us defeating the world superpower at the time.
I
Because
think the whole black world got
yeah,
that for everybody. And I would say, and shout out to I would say this though, George, I actually agree with him. I would say this. This is how, if it wasn't for Haiti, Liberia wouldn't have never happened because of what Haiti did, which was a good thing. But then you got
we got choked out. Like,
you got the American Colonization Society sending blacks back to Liberia because of that, which created even more problems between the native blacks and blacks in Liberia. So I think, and then Haiti has suffered tremendously because of that. Still to this day, uh,
yeah, they're making an example of. I mean, think about it.
yeah,
When Barry Obama was running for president, there were people like, at least in Jersey, like right across the river from the Philly area where I live. They were, the Klan, those people. They were sending out posters saying, "Oh, if you elect a black man to the White House, the United States is going to become like Haiti." They
mm,
use us as an example to discourage other, black held territories to either clamor for independence or to try to make any moves because they always hold it over their head. Even Puerto Rico. Why do you think Puerto Rico voted for statehood instead of independence? Because they told the Puerto Ricans like, "Hey man, do you want to become like Haiti?" They're like,
yeah,
"Oh, okay, we'll become a state."
yeah, yeah. I think you may have a point there. Let me do this. Let me shout out to the people out here. Good to see you, brothers. We got a good stream today. Thank you for the super chats. Let me shout them out. Make sure you guys like the video. If you're in the building, we're here with my man Don Calypso. From he's now a U.S. citizen. I think became a citizen. What, like
October 19th,
I remember
2018.
you was so mad. I was like, man, Trump gonna deport you. He gonna get your ass out of here. He's, man, stop playing like that, man. Stop saying that.
Yo, I'll tell you what. I don't know. Now, I don't know if it was a rumor or not, but there was a thing that circulated saying if you have a green card, you're traveling, be careful what paperwork they ask you to sign when returning, because apparently, supposedly, there were some immigration agents who were trying to be slick and conning permanent residents into signing papers to renounce their residency.
Yeah, let me do this.
So,
Let me do this. Shout out to my brother Art Bernaka. I actually met Art, man. Let
uh,
me do this real quick. Hold on.
ça passe.
Hold on a second. Let me show y'all something here. Art Bernaka, man. I still have this. Tell you how my Haitian brothers did me, man. They did some good stuff for your boy, man. He came and him and his wife, man. I met him and his wife. His wife lives in Poland. They bought me this. I still haven't drunk it yet because the white man been holding my liver back. But he bought me this, man. And then he drew this lovely picture of me, man. You see that? You see how beautiful I look on that one? Hold on. Wait. You see that? That's a good looking
Like a corrupt pastor.
Yeah, I might. He got me looking like a dictator. So shout out to Art Bernaka, man, for coming through and dropping that on me. All right, my brother. He's always welcome to come back. Many of you niggas cannot come to Poland to meet me. I will not meet you niggas. But he can come over and get ready. Shout out to my brother, man. I appreciate him. Let me go ahead and he's pretty good on these controversial hangouts. Like if you get him on here, he says a lot of crazy shit and people be like roasting him. He likes it though. Gardy Dennis. Don't forget that the Haitian Revolution caused the Louisiana Purchase. That's what we get Creole people, the Haitian slaves that were mixed. Yeah, he's right. Terrence B. Dollar. Nelson Ambadias. Haitians have a bad reputation because of their legacy of defeating the oppressor. All radical black groups have a tarnished legacy. Absolutely. My brother Maurice November. I gave you a shout on the Thursday box. Thank you, my brother. Make sure you check it out. McCall, there's about 5 vids on YouTube of Haitians talking down on black Americans. I don't accept America first. All right. Thank you so much, brother McCall. Let me talk about this because you're talking about a lot of the opportunities because you had to work really hard for your citizenship. You went and got bachelor's. You are what's your profession?
Current profession, I'm a research scientist. I work in a pharmaceutical. So I got my undergrad degree. I got a Bachelor of Science in Biology with a second major in philosophy and a minor in chemistry.
Right, right.
Thanks to the hard work I put in, when I applied to Villanova, which I had no idea what the hell, how it was a big deal. I just saw that they had grad programs in biology. I sent an information request. I applied. I got an email saying, "Hey, we got an assistantship for you. Tuition paid for plus a stipend. Please respond by April 18th." So I called them. I'm like, "You realize I'm an international student?" They're like, "Yeah." I'm like, "I'm on an F1 visa. Am I still eligible for this?" They're like, "Yeah." Okay, okay. I accepted because at the time, Howard University never got back to me, and that's how. And come to find out, I have a cousin with the same name as me, different middle name, who's an alum from Howard, and those motherfuckers sent my paperwork to him. And I found out about that when I went home to Haiti to get my visa, and his father came down for his grandmother's funeral. And when we met, he's like, "Oh, you're the other. Oh, you're the one that my son's been getting the paperwork for." I was like, "Oh, pleasure to meet you." I was like, "Oh, motherfuckers," because
Okay.
I was trying to go to Howard, but the white man held me back, so I went to Villanova instead.
All right, let me and I'll basically let me talk about this. Um, when it comes to, for an example, when it comes to the opportunities that, because we don't, a lot of times Black Americans, it's funny, right? Let me just say this because I think you make a great point, and this is not to take a shot at our people, but when I go to Uganda, I'm like, wow, look at all the opportunities that are here. When I go to Kenya, I'm like, wow, look at all the opportunities. And the person in Uganda is like, what are you talking about? Like, nigga, I'm trying to get to America. You know what I mean? And then in the USA, as an immigrant, we've been living here. We don't understand what some of these brothers who never really been anywhere. They don't even really appreciate the opportunities that we have in America. So let's talk about that. In comparisons to Haiti, when you come to America, what are the opportunities that you have as a person who's willing to put in the work and work hard in comparisons to being in a place like Haiti? What are the opportunities? And then what are the things that native Black Americans can do with a blue passport that people that have the F1 visas can't?
Well, for example, when you're on the F1 visa as a student, you can't work off campus. That's the first thing. You can only work on campus, minimum wage, 20 hours a week max. Anything more than that, you're breaking the law. Unless you get a work permit, which is a pain in the ass to get, which I didn't have. As far as let's see, what other opportunities? Well, the person who's a native-born U.S. citizen or even a green card holder, for one thing, you can get loans for school, which you can't when you're on a visa. There are a lot of scholarships. If you go to a state school like I went to, where it doesn't matter if you have the grades, if you don't meet the residency requirements, you can't get. Because if I had a green card when I went to college, I would have gone for. I could have gone for free. I had the grades to get the scholarships, but I was not eligible. But that's okay. Again, going back to the whole ADOS hashtag. Oh,
White man holding his stuff like that.
so, sorry about that. It was somebody calling me, and it almost cut off my stuff. That was
Yeah,
my
what?
little cousin calling me back. Yeah, but yeah, there's a lot of stuff you can't. There's a lot of stuff you can't do. You know, as far as jobs. For example, when you finish school, there's something called OPT, optional practical training, where you can work for 1 year in the field that you got your degree. So,
Okay.
for example, with me having had a degree in biology, I could have worked at a hospital, a research lab, university, or even a pharmaceutical, but I couldn't just get a degree in biology and go work at a bank, for example. So you have limits. But with the OPT, you do that for 1 year and then you got to go home. It's not guaranteed that you'll be able to get sponsored for the H1 work visa. Um, if you're like one program I got accepted to for grad school, but I had to turn down. It was a master's in biotechnology at Penn State. Now the MS in biotechnology is a terminal degree. It's equivalent to PhD, where you it's a co-op program. So while you're studying, you get to work in industry in biotech companies, pharma. But even though I got accepted, I would have had a hard time because I'd be hard pressed to be able to get an internship because of my status, not being a resident in a sensitive field like that. Plus, it was 21,000 a year for tuition, no assistantship, and I was not gonna have my parents pay for that after they already paid for me for undergrad, with taking summer classes and having taken an extra year, being a super senior. So, you know, whereas if I had that blue passport, that would have not been an issue. I could have gotten a loan, gotten the job, and then paid it off relatively quickly.
So basically, those that are as an immigrant, when you're coming from like your industry, and me and you talked about this before, your industry, which is in the pharmaceutical, some I think it's some parts of immunology and some research.
Yeah.
That is not even an industry in Haiti.
No, it's not. So I would not be able to do what I'm doing. Like, I knew I wanted to be a scientist. There is no way I could have done it in Haiti. So if I had gone into computer science, if I was like a project manager, IT, there's plenty of opportunities. I could have stayed in Haiti. I mean, as poor as Haiti is, as bad as things are, as corrupt as it is, we are known to, at least when I was in high school, we had the most advanced computerized banking system in all the Caribbean, There's there are some opportunities in Haiti, but it depends on what field. If you're an entrepreneur, you want to do business, retail, well, not now currently with all the unrest going on, but there's some opportunities, but in the sciences, in my field, no.
No opportunities. Look,
No.
let's talk about this then. And we got to be honest. I know when I was at undergrad as a biology major, we had like natural sciences and mathematics. We all graduate together. So the biology, physics, astronomy, chemistry.
Yeah.
We all graduate in the same ceremony, right? Especially when you go to a big PWI. I graduated from PW, predominantly white institution.
Yeah.
There's multiple graduations. You graduate. You don't graduate. Everybody doesn't graduate as a group. I don't know about at your school. But you graduate every school, because the School of Business has a graduation ceremony because it's huge. School of Communications, so you graduate with your department. Okay, in my department, out of like 100 students or 200 students, like 2 African Americans. So when you do see the black students, you do see them coming from Africa or to the Caribbean in these STEM fields.
Yep. That's my experience too.
African Americans not going into these fields.
I don't know. And you know what? That's something that bothered me the whole time. I was always wondering, why aren't there more Native Black Americans in the field, and what can be done to attract them in those fields, And from the people I talked to, they just weren't interested. Now, when I went to undergrad at Slippery Rock, there were quite a handful of Black Americans who were like in the computer science, from IT, information systems. But the hard sciences, it was all Caribbean African. I just think, I could be wrong. I don't know why, but I just think it's just not interesting to them. I saw there were plenty who went like I did see some who went into business, but sadly, look, I'm biased. I'm going to offend a lot of people. I'm not a big fan of the soft social sciences. So I did see a lot of Black Americans like go into like sociology, social work, anthropology,
trash,
but not like the hard sciences. Now there was one Black American girl when they started the biochemistry major. I think she was probably one of the first to get to that. There was one Black American girl a year after me who also graduated as a bio major. But for the most part, when I started, there were 7 or 8 Black folks in a class of about 119. I'm the only one who finished as a bio major. All the other ones who started my cohort, they quit. They went to other majors,
Yeah, a lot of these people get trash ass majors. You heard me say it, trash. That's what I think about your major. If you did trash, put in the garbage, trash. All right, trash. That's how I feel about trash. Okay,
Yeah, but here's my question.
Most of them trash.
But here's my question: does it get how? I gotta ask, like, because in Haiti, you get you go to the States, you get a college degree in the sciences. It's looked at. Oh, that's wow, that's a big deal. You know, that's you're gonna get respect in that for having it's not an easy field. But my question is, in Black America, as a native Black American, can you tell me in the Black community, is it looked at as somehow like you're selling out to the white man if you go like do like a biology or chemistry or something? I mean,
I don't think so.
am I seeing as selling out the Black community because I'm working for a pharmaceutical?
No, I think you're selling out. I think if you become a police officer, then that's when that a police officer, prosecutor, stuff like that. But
shoot,
yeah,
we need more Black folks to be in the police. I think.
Yeah,
if anything, that would help.
You got the Black police deep in Atlanta and Philadelphia and Baltimore, and them niggas just as bad as anywhere else. You know what I mean? But police, yeah, definitely you're gonna be. I mean, most people, if you're in the biology or STEM fields, I'm gonna just be honest. Who you would think is like the Pookie and Ray Ray Black, something like that. They don't care anything about that because you're not competing with them in anything. You don't live. You're not gonna live by each other. You're not gonna be fucking the same type of women for the most part. Well, that could be true. Usually that's not the case. Usually y'all don't have the same circle, and usually you're not in competition. So most people kind of, if you're not intruding in on their space, that's why drug dealers and gangsters kind of typically get into it a lot because they're competing in the same circles, competing in the same things. Educated Black men that are in those STEM fields, a dentist and a doctor or a lawyer for the most part, an accountant, they don't have no issues with the Black community for the most part, unless they start, taking shots at the Black community or talking a lot of shit. That's the most part though that you might get. But
I wouldn't do that. If anything, I would, if I could try to reach folks in the Black community, try to get more Black folks to be interested in like the hard sciences, because I'm tired of not seeing enough folks who look like me. Even throughout my career, there's only been a few other American Blacks I've worked with in my people who worked as scientists. The few other Blacks, that I've worked with were, also imported. Like, how Mr. Research always used to give that challenge to Black men about trying to pull another brother into a job instead of being content being the only or the first Black guy that tried to pull someone else. And I told him, I'm like, listen, dude, I'm like, how hard I tried? The only Black person I succeeded in pulling in, the guy was an African. I couldn't pull a Black American. Not that I didn't try, but they weren't any in that field to begin with. At least where I am, So
you're saying that there were no Black Americans in the same kind of fields you're in?
I mean, I see a few here and there, but I mean, for example, in the pharma industry, I'm more likely to see Black Americans working the IT side, which is no problem with that because, it can make good money, but not that many as actual scientists. And if I see Black Americans working as scientists, I'm more likely to see Black American women than men. Nothing wrong with that, but, again.
I'm going to say this. Okay? This is going to be offensive. I gotta say,
don't take it to Patreon. Don't take it to Patreon.
Children are likely to end up like their parents. Don't want to hear that. Don't like it. It's the truth. Okay. The parents and their IQ and their high educational levels highly depicts what their children are going to turn out to be. Right? This is something that y'all don't want to get. Hey, I'm sorry. Okay. Now, even my dad had a crack cocaine problem for some times, but my dad also got into UCLA. Yeah. My mom went to UC Davis. Okay. My parents were very, 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 very bright. Okay. And I was very, 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 very bright. Still very, 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 very bright. And my parents knew that I was very, very, very bright. And they put me in a private school, or if my dad was tripping, my grand, oh, this guy is talented. We need to move him along. Yeah, that's how you go to college and become you can attempt certain majors, you can get into medical school. Because if you're smart, you can do those things. Here's the problem. A lot of y'all. Let me say this about our folks. We don't want to hear that. If you are not serious about your studies, if you didn't do that, it's a good chance that your children are not going to be like that. I know you want to think that that's the case, but it's not. Look at all the billionaires, okay? I just got to be honest. You look at people like Zuckerberg, right? Who's the guy that owns Amazon?
Jeff Bezos.
Let's look at Jeff Bezos. Let's just look at his Wikipedia, okay? Ask me, what school did he go to?
What school did he go to?
Okay, well, let's see here. He graduated Princeton in 1986 with degrees in electrical engineering and computer science. Okay, what did his family do? Hold on, let me see. Personal life. Okay, can't really say what his personal life was. Leadership style. Who was successful?
Bill Gates. Bill Gates. He went to Harvard, but I don't think he finished.
Father was a tax attorney. Mother was on the provost for University of Washington. I know that already. Let's even talk about what's the one guy who owned BET? What's his name?
Bob, who used to own Bob Johnson?
Bob Johnson. Let's look at Bob Johnson. Bob Johnson.
Didn't he relocate to Liberia or something? At least that's something I heard.
Mm-hmm. Ask me where he went.
Where did he go to school?
Okay. Now, his mother was a school teacher. His father was a farmer. Okay, so one of them smart. He did go to the University of Illinois, and then he went to Princeton in 1972. So you see, there's a direct correlation. Like a lot of people don't want to talk about this. There's a direct correlation between children who are bright and children who do well. This Elon Musk, he went to like some of the best schools in Pretoria, right? A lot of people don't want to understand this. If the parents were not bright, usually, and I'm not saying the parents don't have the potential, because you have a lot of people who have potential and just haven't used it. But usually, parents do not produce bright kids if they don't have those sorts of things. The parents children typically end up like their parents. For example, look at all of this. I want to say this real quick. Both of your parents were doctors. You were what? Yep. A research scientist now. Okay.
Yep.
Right. My father is now is like 1 month away from getting a master's as a nurse practitioner. I'm getting ready to go to medical school. My grandmother was a nurse. It's not a coincidence. You understand? So the thing is, even look at the football players, like Deion Sanders is a son right now, doing really good. Randy Moss' son is doing really good. Like, it makes sense. Their dads played NFL. So if your children, if you didn't do a whole lot in life, it's a good chance. I'm sorry.
Or you have to pass on the motivation.
Yeah, if they don't see you doing that shit, how can they do it? Like, this is the thing. So I know we don't want to talk about that. I know that's true. That's an off-topic subject, but somebody say don't diss farmers, Oshay. Who diss farmers? Who? Stop the show. Who are you? And who diss you have Negro, don't time him out either. Who the fuck are you talking about, nigga? Did you hear me diss anybody?
I think because you mentioned they say Bob Johnson, like one of his parents was a farmer. I think they probably thought you.
So his mom was the school teacher part, like academics. Ain't nobody dissing farmers for that. What are you talking about?
Hey, my grandfather on my mom's side, he was born as a peasant in the mountains and stuff. He didn't get his schooling until he was like in his 30s, and right. He started late in life. Eventually became an accountant and eventually had a business and raised his kids. But at least on my maternal side, my grandfather started from humble beginnings.
Let me say this. I'm talking about book smart, right? Like academics.
Yeah,
That's what I meant. I mean, his parents could have been book smart, so that's what I mean. I didn't mean he was like
yeah.
nothing wrong with him. But his parents was a school teacher. So if you're a school teacher, that means you're probably gonna be pushing your child onto that. That's what I mean, right? God damn. All right,
Yeah.
let's get back
But
to the thing. Go ahead. Go
but
no.
but you know what? One thing I want to point out too, though, even if the person a friend may not have the education, at least in Haiti, one thing my mom was telling me, like back when I was an undergrad, after one of those major hurricanes, when the government was asking people what do they want, and the people were like, "Well, rebuild the schools. We need our kids to go to school." So I don't know. I don't know if that still is prevalent. Well, you know what? From what BGS had said in a lot of his videos, since emancipation, there's been always that push to push the girls to go to school and the boys to keep them for labor. There was never an emphasis for the boys going to school, whereas in Haiti and in, I guess in the rest of the islands and in many African countries, there is that sense that they want to push the boys to get an education to advance in life. So even where you have cases where parents may not be that educated, even the parents are not that bright, they're still thinking, well, I want my kids to go to school to get a better opportunity. And again, it's not looked down upon. It's only when I came to the States, like the whole thing about, being looked down for being a nerd and, ostracized for doing well academically. Um, that was not a thing in Haiti, except at the American school though.
And this is one
But
thing that I want to say before we get back into it. Like the children have the potential. I see a lot of black children have a lot of potential when I come back. You know, a lot of guys STEM would be nothing for them. But the thing about it is, if your parents are not doing it, you usually hold no value in it. Like a lot of when I was going to school, a lot of children they knew what they wanted to be, like freshmen. Some people go to school undecided, right? A lot of black children, black kids. You go undecided to whatever. I haven't declared yet. You have no idea what you're going to be. Most immigrant children, most blacks, I'm talking about them. They know exactly what they're going to school for. I'm going to school to become a chemical engineer. I'm going to school to become an electrical engineer. I'm going to school to become a computer science engineer. That's what I'm here for. I'm not here. Go ahead.
You can't be an international student from Africa or Caribbean. Fix your mouth to claim that you're undeclared. If you were to tell your parents you want to go to college and say you're undeclared, you're not sure what you want to do, you're getting popped upside the head.
Yeah.
And you're probably not going to get a visa either. They're not going to give you a visa if you're going to go undeclared. I mean, you got to know what the hell you want to do. I mean,
and our parents are so freelance, right? Our parents in African American homes, oh baby, I'm just glad you're going to college, baby. You know what do you want to do, baby? Go ahead on and do what you feel like doing, baby. This is what a lot of us are. We teach our children. Oh, take it. Do what your heart say do. And that's another thing. And let me not be kind of retract myself. Farmers, what I'm talking about is this. Okay, I'm gonna say that the academia part of him to go to college probably didn't come from the farmer. It probably came from the school teacher. That's what I meant to say. There's a reason why people who have wealth doesn't matter. You can even go to the black countries. People who are the high elites in Nigeria, whatever. Okay, if you look at any of those people, the top people or who does well, there are people who have been doing well, or their second generation of doing well. And the thing is, a lot of guys are scared of these sciences. You scared of them. You scared of the engineering. You scared of the medicine. You scared of all of this shit.
Well, BGS addressed that. He said that one of the issues is because a lot of people, they're not properly taught math. Like,
right.
It's one thing to be able to know how to do it, but you got a lot of people who may be talented at doing math, but there's very few who are talented as far as teaching it to others.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, and hey, okay, I've been lazy. I've never had a chance to write that article I should have written in Negro Manosphere, so I'll just say it right now. And I've told you that multiple times in private conversations. Honestly, if in Black America, Black guys doing STEM, if that was considered sexy, there is a lot of stuff that could be solved right now because, the whole stereotypical notion of the Pookie and Ray Ray in the hood. There's so much untapped talent as far as I'm talking like intellect, knowledge, inventiveness. Think about it again. Going back to the hashtag ADOS. American descendants of slaves. Those are the descendants of those people who made all kinds of inventions without even having the formal education that whites had. They were just that brilliant. I'm
Mm-hmm.
telling you, if I'm gonna piss off a lot of folks, but if it became sexy for Black American guys to have like degrees in STEM fields, okay, and those were the guys that the women were selecting, I bet you in less than 50 years we would have nuclear fusion. We
Yeah.
would already have rockets going to Mars because we would have figured out nuclear fusion thermal propulsion. That whole scandal with VW with the diesel emission, that would have
Mm-hmm.
never happened because a Black American engineer at the one of those companies would have figured out how to make a cleaner diesel engine. There's a lot of stuff that could be solved, but since it's not sexy, those guys are probably trying to work on their jump shots or their their 50-yard pass or whatever sports or entertainment stuff because that's what's sexy.
Well, that's also true, but I gotta be honest too. And shout out to my brother, College Genesis. He just joined the BioStem group. I gotta have him back on, and I'm gonna read your super chats out real quick.
Hey,
One thing I
College
gotta be
Genesis
honest with.
is a that's an old timer from Blog Talk Radio. Man, I don't know how many gigabytes of his show I got downloaded. That brother, that's an old timer. I'm glad he's back, and seems like he's crossed over to YouTube.
Yeah, he's here.
That's
I'm gonna have him
definitely
on. Probably, maybe have him on tonight if you got time.
no. You guys should definitely check out his archive. He's got some good stuff. But
Let me
carry on.
say this real quick though, before I forget. You know what I want to mention though, right? And I got to be honest. You know, a lot of times, if you come from a good family or a decent family, you know, your parents can support you. Like even now in medical school, I wouldn't be able to come if it wasn't for the loan. But I know a lot of rich people from other countries, like Saudi Arabia. They love their people so much. Let me tell you how Saudi Arabia does. They students, they send them to medical school for free. Many of them, I know they used to at least give them a stipend, and they don't pay taxes, but they're getting ready to do it now. And so you're getting free education in another country. You're getting a stipend. At least that was the case. But also, a lot of our brothers, though, when you want to get into the engineering, number one, you can't really work, you know, in those kind of fields. You got to have some money. You can't really work, and you probably don't have as much support. That's another thing. You know, we don't have the support a lot of times. You know, because you're going to, let's say, Texas A&M or Texas Tech or even Prairie View A&M, right? It's expensive to do these courses if you're coming out of, let's say, you know, inner city Black America to get into those type of things. You know, the course load is high. It's expensive. Your mama probably can't sign off on certain loans, stuff like that. And then that's a hard part for anybody. You know, going to medicine or any kind of stuff. It's hard when you're the first one to go. Then here's the thing. What's also difficult? What's difficult is a lot of chicks, since like, and to your point, they don't see a lot of brothers in the engineering or doctors. So the women don't really gravitate towards guys like that. They're almost being like foreign. So what's the quickest way to make money? Rapping, you know, what else? Selling dope. You know, it's just not cool to be a broke ass engineering student. It's not cool to be a broke ass pre-med student. It's just not.
I
It's
got
a
to point
long
out
road
something.
too. Go ahead.
Something you said about not being able to get the support as far as the loans and stuff. And that's another thing. Again, I gotta shout out Mr. Research because he's talked about it ad nauseum. One of the issues also is when you're looking for scholarships, I'm talking about like academic scholarship where you got to work to have the grades for it. It seems like the bulk of them, if they're even like for quote unquote minorities, a lot of them are for women only. So that's another thing too that goes a strike against Black guys trying to go into STEM is a girl will finally probably get scholarships, especially with engineering and stuff. They're basically trying to bribe women to get into those fields, even though they're not technically, a lot of times they're not really interested in it. But if you're a guy, even if you have the grades and stuff, you might struggle to get the scholarship.
Mm. Let me do this real quick. Let me shout out some of the people here in the chat. Thank you for the support, brothers. Nazim, Oshay, what is your IQ and Don Calypso IQ? You did an IQ test?
No, I never have.
It depends on what kind of IQ test you're talking about. If it comes to like the IQ with like noticing certain shapes and shit, I would be mentally retarded when it comes to that kind of stuff. But I've taken some of like that has to do with other things. I don't know if it's official, but it was like 124. But if it has anything to do with shapes and stuff like that, I will be mentally retarded. So I don't even really know if you can gauge intelligence quotients in those type of things and certain issues. But some people have higher intelligence in certain aspects than others. I think so. You know, right? There's some people who have a social IQ intelligence, like a guy like Magic Johnson. He doesn't speak well at all. He probably knows very little vocabulary words, but he has like a really good business IQ. You know, certain people have certain. I don't think there's one IQ that solves the thing that solves the overall problem, right? But I would say for sure I'm smarter than at least 5 of you in here. I know that's right.
Yeah, I've never taken an IQ test, but
yeah. I mean, I know I'm smart enough to do anything that you niggas is doing. that's a fact. So shit. I mean, except for shooting dice. If you doing it, I can do it, motherfucker. That's what I'm talking about. Go ahead, my brother.
I like to think that I has got the IQ over 3 digits. Yes, massa.
Oh my god. Where'd you learn that from?
Come on.
What's the let's see here. Tony Smith, good topic and questions. Pressure, bust pipes, and make diamonds. Your guest can't relate, and I'm an 80s baby. Went to war with the African Americans here in Florida for our respect. They dehumanized and beat us up worse than white folks. What do you have to say to that?
Well, again, I wasn't there in the 80s. I'm pretty sure he's right. I mean, I cannot invalidate or confirm his experience. You know, like by the time I came to the States, you know, I came to the state in 2000. I was 18. It's, you know, it's a different experience than those who went to like, you know, elementary, middle school, high school. But from what I've heard, it was really rough in the 80s. Like some people, they found out you were Haitian, they'll try to kill you. I mean, there was a lot of Haitians who would pretend to be Jamaican just so they would not have their lives threatened. So,
well, I mean, I wouldn't disagree with that. I'm an ADOS deeply entrenched in STEM thing. A real engineer, thank you, Jay Shaw. I'm an ADOS deeply entrenched in STEM and technology. Joey T, the Creole were sellouts in Haiti, in the U.S. Cage God, ADOS is xenophobics. They are focused more on trashing black immigrants, but never dare to trash white immigrants. Whoa. Let's talk about that. I mean,
there's a lot of white illegal immigrants, especially from like Central Europe, you know, and you got some white immigrants from Western Europe. Basically, white people who may come in on a student visa, overstay their visa. They never get rounded up by ICE, you know, because they're looking for people with melanin. Mm-hmm. You know, there's a lot of that, but you know, those people, they don't seem to get the ire, you know, and they're taking from the system. They're taking resources that should go to Native Black Americans, just like the illegal Hispanic immigrants. But what I've noticed is there's a lot of ire against the Caribbean and African blacks, especially those who are here legally, you know. Now, I can understand if you got people talking shit about Black Americans. Yeah, no, you know, I don't begrudge Black Americans being pissed off at them, but it seems like even if you're here, you're doing your thing, you're not impeding in the Native Black Americans' way, you're not trying to step over them to achieve your piece of the American dream. But the fact that you're not, you know, of Black American descent, nowadays it seems like there's that ire, like almost this undercurrent of individuals who want to get rid of all the Black immigrants, you know. As if somehow, like people like me are doing more damage to Black America than the illegals who are sucking up the resources that should go to Black American citizens, descendant of slaves. You know.
I mean, and this brother says our African American brothers did not welcome us. I mean, I get where you're coming from, but you got to understand also, you know. When African immigrants are Haitians, they come and they get citizenship immediately. You automatically competing with a group that's been here, you know. So of course you're gonna have tensions. That's just like anywhere. And I think that's understandable. Nobody wants, a group of anybody. If you go someplace in South Africa, it was the same. When other blacks started showing up in South Africa, hey, look, we've been here. Y'all niggas not gonna come over here and benefit off of our shit. So you're gonna have tensions like that. I mean, that's just, you know what I mean? Especially if you put these people, that probably don't have a lot of skill, they're poor, you put them in the same neighborhood as these people. Of course you're gonna have tensions. Because people are gonna be like, where the fuck you from? You should go back to where you from. That's natural. That would be natural if you put, let's say, some poor African Americans in a Haiti neighborhood where they're competing for certain situations. They're gonna treat you like shit. That's almost normal. You know what I mean? So anybody's gonna feel like that. So the thing about it is what is not talked about, and I'm sure that brother's he's telling the truth. But there are so many stories where black people do accept immigrants. I mean, look at the rap game now. You got all these guys who 20 years ago, some of these dudes are trash. I'll just be honest, man. Come on, Drake. I mean, let's be real. When rap was dominated by African Americans, that's when it was, for the most part, the best. Now, you did have your people like Notorious Big, Jay-Z, people like that. But they was pretty much riding on the African American platform. But now you got these other dudes, what's the 21 Savage, Drake. Come on, man. You got all these dudes in the game. These dudes are coming in and basically they getting on. You got a Cardi B, Nicki Minaj. Come on, man. You got all these people that's coming in on our shit. They would never let us get in on their shit. That's just the goddamn facts. You know what I'm saying? So I understand that. Yeah, Haitians did get their ass whooped, but listen, in certain parts, nobody's gonna let you come into where they're from and you going to school with them and you're in their spaces where their families have been there for a long time, and you immediately of course they're gonna fuck you up. That's just the fact. In the Fugees, shut up, the Fugees, which is who the Fugees from? Wyclef
And his cousin Praz. They're from Wyclef and his cousin Praz are from Haiti. And I don't know. Is Lauren? Is he American?
Who blew the Fugees up? Was it Haitians that blew the Fugees up?
I think they became popular in the States first, and then
niggas blew the Fugees up. This is what I can't say. Like, man, a lot of people at the same time. We have helped people basically blow the fuck up. They can't even blow up on unless you come to Black American platforms. A lot of shit you can't even blow up. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I mean, look, my thing is, again, I agree with you. Like someone like me, I don't have a right to come in and get resources, any benefits that should belong to, like I say, American descendants of slaves. I didn't come here to kind of knock off native Black American. I came here to get opportunities I couldn't get back home. But again, what I'm sensing, and I could be wrong, but it seems like there's this undercurrent of people who basically want to get rid of the legal Black immigrants, but it seems like there's more of a hatred for individuals like me than for those who came in illegally, who are costing the country and individual states so many billions, in taxpayer money that could go to citizens.
Right.
Like, those individuals don't seem to get as much ire as someone like me. Even if you and I, we're talking now because you're asking for my opinion. But even if I'm not someone interjecting in the conversation, trying to tell Black Americans what to do and stuff, even if I'm just living my life, but just by virtue of being foreign born, it's like guy like me is being seen as the boogeyman, as opposed to those who are really here illegally taking up the resources that belongs to you guys. You know what I mean?
Right. And let me say this too. There was a Haitian brother that got killed by a Dallas police officer. You guys remember a few months ago?
I think he was from I don't think he was from Haiti.
He's from
I think that guy was like from Saint Lucia or Saint Vincent. He was from another one of those islands. But yeah,
Negroes was hot. I mean, that wasn't something that we was down with. We was mad as fuck about that. So yeah, but a lot of us did treat people bad shit. And it's unfortunate, but You know, if the white man would have left Haiti alone and let them do what they need to do, especially Bill Clinton, their country would be something, that they could stay in. But I don't know, man. Is there anything else? So basically, because we know now, like a lot of Haitians, they come over, like you're not an immigrant. You paid your way. You worked hard. You studied hard. Nobody gave you anything. You worked for everything that you got.
Oh,
What do you
somebody might
think?
argue that
Go ahead.
my scholarship for grad school that I took something that should have gone to a Native Black American, though.
Let's
Even
be
though
honest.
I earned it, but
Let's be honest. These we know that if it comes to two places, you will find empty for when it comes to Negroes. Okay, immunology and hard science classes, and in political meetings. Those two things, for the most part. What's not true, Jay Shine? Those two things you will find most people not having an interest in. Very, very little, and that is engineering fields and in the sciences and political meetings. That's where you're not gonna find us. You find us everywhere else. But I don't think that you take somebody's issues on that, because even in black, this is how I know why. You have historically black colleges. I think Jackson State has a PhD in chemistry, right? Do you know that Jackson State University graduated like 8 of their 12 PhDs were Asian?
wow.
So even in engineering programs at Howard University, places like North Carolina A&T, we are not even represented there. Prairie View A&M. Schools
Yeah,
that say, "Hey, we want you to come study at our school," we don't go. We don't study
I've
there.
heard something to the effect that actually you got a lot of non-blacks who go to HBCUs for because HBCUs, when they got a big reputation, it's really because of what they produce in their graduate programs. Like I heard there's a lot of white folks who go to Howard for law because they got a damn good law program in the medical school.
Yeah, because our people don't want to. Our people don't try to go like that. I mean, when you have PhDs in chemistry, and a lot of them are coming out. You go to Howard University, PhDs in mathematics. You're not going to find many African Americans in those things. So we can't say that we're losing opportunities on that. We're losing opportunities. The notion that black immigrants come here, work hard, and nobody gave them anything. No, I mean in the case of Don Calypso, Jay Shine. That's what I'm talking about. Not anybody else's case. I'm talking about him. His family paid for all of his stuff. I don't know if you're late to the conversation, but when it comes to him, yeah, that's what I'm saying. Not anybody else. I'm talking about him. Somebody says Southern University in Baton Rouge has an excellent engineering program, but a lot of students in the Middle East. Yeah, so we have our own colleges and schools. I think we have more historically black colleges than even what? Than even Haiti has colleges completely, probably.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, anyways, I'm not gonna keep you holding too long. Man. It was a good discussion. I'm glad that you're able to come on here and talk to the people,
Yeah.
man. We definitely appreciate you coming on and
Sorry, my
supporting the
voice
movement.
wasn't so good, folks. The white man's been holding my sinuses back, but we managed to work through it.
Anything else you want to say to your fans, man?
Well, I didn't realize I had fans. I thought it probably pissed off people who want to come at me with the torches and pitchforks. But no, honestly, look, if there's one thing I would love to see, if I could inspire more Native Black Americans to go into STEM, that would be a dream come true. The only person I ever managed to convert into becoming picking up a STEM major, it was a white kid when I was a TA. He was a business major. I convinced him to get a minor. I never managed to turn a black kid into the sciences. If I could do that, that would be a dream come true, especially a Black American. If I could see more Black Americans go into biology, chemistry, and stuff, man, my mission in life would be complete.
Yeah, and you're married to
My wife is Black American, and the previously I dated before was also Black American.
Mhm.
I've only been in a relationship with 2 American Black women, my wife being the second one. But yeah, it's not that, and again, it's not that I never had interest in sisters. Like when I came to undergrad, going back to what I said way earlier in the convo, like the foreign Black guys, it was the Black American women who kind of had some hostility. all the foreign black guys, the first women they try to go after were the sisters. When sisters were not interested, like white women were like the backup plan, the plan Z. You know, there were no sisters were not interested. But
why do you think that is?
There weren't that many. Latinas. There were hardly any Latinas. Not that many Asians. So white women were plan Z. And when we went to plan Z, then the sisters had an issue.
Let me ask you this. Shout out to Jay Shot. I did read it. It says, I'm an ADOS deeply entrenched in STEM and technology, my brother. I don't know if you heard it, but thank you for the support. Yeah. Let me read Rock Safari. Romanians used to gang up on us when we was alone. Hold on a second. Romanians used to gang up on us when we was alone. Shout out to Rock Safari. And then let me shout out to the brother Antoine Wade, doing some great work at Black Heights. If the ADOS movement wants to survive, it needs a clear purpose. And second, it needs to be written, not verbalized on social media strategy. It's best written and only verbalized after you have the results. Facts. What were you going to say about that? What were you saying, Don Calypso?
I was going to say, my brother Jay Shine, like everybody, please subscribe to his channel. Good guy.
Yeah, and a lot of Asians teach STEM at HBCUs. That's the fact. I went to Howard for some time. I know that this is true. So, in closing, man, anything that you brothers you want to say to your fans here?
Well, hey, look, I'm all for the whole ADOS thing, Black American descendant slaves. I'm all for them getting their just due. Reparations for the descendants of Black American slaves. I, like Sub-Zero said, I don't think it's going to come in the form of a reparations check, but something like either reduced tax rates for Black Americans, preferential admission, opportunities for school. The only thing is, just like what BGS said, when Black people, when that movement was starting in the 70s, it got hijacked, when the women went the feminist route to try to block the Black man from getting it. As long as the ADOS movement doesn't get hijacked, just like the Black Power movement did, that's what I got to watch out for. Because, we need stuff for Black men, because there have been all those set aside for Black women. Whatever the ADOS movement wants to achieve, it has to be specifically for Black men. So you can have the Black men have the opportunity to get their businesses and the employment and stuff to lead the families. Because we've seen that the matriarchy has failed. So it's time to bring back the Black patriarchy. So, and the ADOS movement can do it. We just got to make sure it doesn't get hijacked. And people like me, who are the imported Black Americans, we'll stay out the way. Guys like me, we support it. We'll stay out the way. This is not our fight, but you got our support. Reparations for the descendants of slaves. Yep, I'm all for it.
All right. Okay, guys. So shout out to Book of Alpharonomy in the building. Let me get some shout outs real quick, man, to some of you brothers. Go ahead and comment. City, state. Let me know where you're from. I'll give you guys 5 minutes. I like to always give shout outs to the people for coming by and just watching the stream with us. I yell at y'all niggas sometimes, but I love you like a play, cuz I got a high temper. I got nigga-itis. So let's go ahead and let me get some shout outs. If you hurry up, I got 5 minutes for y'all. Want to just shout the people out for watching. City and state, you know how we do it over here. Odinga Mubuto, Maryland, thank you, my brother. ADOS Lives Matter 205. Arthur Bennett, O'Shea, do you think you will get reparations? Nope. Green Machine, South Jersey. Pressure Pipes and Makes Diamonds, Broward County, Florida. What up, my Haitian brother? Good to see you. 3M, Read Bridges and Boundaries. He talks about when Blacks were majoring in the sciences, they took them out of the science, put them in the liberal arts. Whoa! Whoa! I didn't know this. Nazim, shout me out, nigga. Hold on, let me read that real quick. Bridges and Boundaries. Ain't that a bitch? Now that would not surprise me. That would not surprise me. Back, wouldn't it?
It would not surprise me. Look, way back when there was that first Black Youth Gender Award, Solon Black made a point. He said, Black people don't need to compete. He said, when Black people are given a fair shake, when we're given an even playing field, Black people don't compete, they dominate. And that's the thing also, and that's one thing I can say I've noticed, especially Black Americans, when they apply themselves, they dominate. So, we got to give them that incentive. If they can have that even playing field and without all the, all the discouragement, all the negative social pressure against achievement, Because when Black Americans apply themselves, they dominate.
Yo, let me also all right, shout out to my brother Mark Anthony out of Texas. My brother Deep in Thought. Hey, my brother Deep in Thought's gonna get ready to have a call-in show for you brothers, man. Okay, he got the mixer and everything waiting for y'all. All right, good to see you, brothers. Super Kojo, what up? Oh, Sacramento, California. We always love what you do. Good to see you, brothers, out here, man. I really appreciate you guys. Jay Shaw, thank you, my brother. $2 super chat. Total tax exemption and loan forgiveness for ADOS. I know that's right.
I agree. Yep, tax exemption for ADOS. That's a good start. Preferential treatment for business loans with lower interest rates. Yeah.
My brother Nick Taylor he didn't ask for Detroit. Shout out my brother Antoine Wade out in the Bay Area. Jay Shine, Randoms. Good to see my brother out of New York. Oh, my brother Teapot, Queen City in North. Rumble, Negroes Rumble. Shout out to the Prophet of Thought series. You guys go subscribe to that brother. Got some good stuff. I really like doing these shout outs, man. I like to give you brothers some support for supporting us.
If you niggas don't support Brother Xavier from the Prophet of Thought series, he will haunt you in your dreams.
In that deep voice, niggas, wake up! I'm here in your dreams, in your mind. PLT. All right. Anybody else want to shout out before I go? I want to just recognize you before I go. All right. Shout out to Dollar Will PG. Okay, good to see you, my brother. Arthur Bartlett. Well, you sound like you got good credit. His name is Arthur Bartlett. You know he got some good credit with a name like that, boy. You walk in.
Yeah, isn't Bartlett one of those real estate company names?
Yeah, he get a job before he show up. Like, damn, you know he was a nigga. Oshay, come down to Palm Beach. Nah, I heard about y'all Haitians down there in Palm Beach. Player, I don't really know about that, man. Y'all Haitians in Florida, man. Y'all some rough people down there, boy. I don't. Y'all niggas be out there in broad daylight with it out there. I done seen some documentaries. You niggas don't play.
Man, as long as you eat some fried plantains and the fried pork, you'll be good, man. They'll accept you.
Let me just ask you this, right? Because you talk about this all the time. Before I go, when I went to Africa, like Uganda for the first time, I see so many similarities in African Americans and in like Ugandans or just Africans, period. I'm like, yeah, we definitely got to be the same goddamn people. Let's talk about this. When you was living in the Congo, how similar was it to people in Haiti?
I don't remember not so much in the Congo, but more like when I was in Togo. In Togo, definitely, I felt at home. Like a lot of the stuff, the food, there was a lot of cultural stuff. It definitely, and then I also did, took a couple trips to Ghana and then Benin. Definitely reaffirm what we believe in Haiti, that when we say we came from the Gulf of Guinea, the Dahomey Kingdom, that area, that was definitely my ancestral homeland. I actually felt more at home there than in Haiti. There's a lot of stuff I understand better about Haitian culture because I lived on the African continent. But no matter where you go in Africa, you'll come across somebody over there who looks like a dead ringer to someone back in the States or in the island. They might be a shade lighter or a shade darker, but you'll come across a shit ton of people who look just like somebody back home.
I'm telling you, you'd be like, Leroy, is that you? Oh, who's Leroy? I do not know who this is. Oh, I'm sorry, dog. I thought you knew. Yeah, man. Yeah. It's surprising, like how similar that we really are to a lot of people, and just don't really know it. But yeah, my brother. Anything else you want to tell the people, man?
Like, share, subscribe, get the likes up, and all the other content creators. I wasn't in the chat room, but folks like a Dollar Will, Jay Shine, Brother Xavier, subscribe to them. Gotta get blackmail media going. Whether you're ADOS or imported, we gotta get blackmail media going. So subscribe, support the other brothers.
All right, and guys, I really, 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 really thank you. Peace out. And God bless. All right, and
don't let the white man hold you back.
Yeah, he's been holding me back all day. Peace.
All right, peace, man.